everybody, and we're live. So welcome to the Come Cook With Me show. My name is Laura Hall, and I am so sorry yet again, we were just a smidgen behind schedule. But I wanted to make sure that the recipe was set up perfectly for you. So if you're new to the show, you know that the recipe is always included in the show and it's up in the post, so you can always see what it is that we're actually doing. So today we are going to be making an incredible, yummy, yummy, delicious meal. I just can't wait to share it with you. But it does have a couple of steps that, you know, are outside of the normal of how we actually do things. So let's go ahead and cover some basics. So if you're new to the show, one of the things that we love to do in our community is say hello, share some love, say who you are, where you're from. And when you do, you get entered to win some really fun things. So we try to make it a really fun, exciting community, and one that we, you know, we're all getting to know one another. Actually, I love some of the comments and people helping one another out on some of the past shows. So, so that's what you want to do. You want to say hello, who you are, and where you're from. And when you do that, you get a chance to win our spices from one of our teammates, Dan Oliver. He is one of the health and wellness coaches in my team, and he has come up with these amazing spices. So, in fact, I actually didn't put all my spices down here, so I should do that for the show. All right, so these are Dano's spices. They are just phenomenal. They come in a little spicy and a little savory. They're wonderful. So when you say hello, who you are, where you're from, you get a chance to win these. All right. Now there's something else that we do for this show, and I think you're going to be really excited to see what we're doing this week especially. I posted in the Come Shop With Me, which if you're new to this show, I should tell you, we always do a shopping trip at the grocery store so you can see what we're cooking and what's in the cart. So it's called Come Shop With Me. And then you'll have all the ingredients that you can cook with us and really enjoy, you know, cooking with me, if that's what some of you do. Some of you like to watch what we do and then watch for the pictures that I post later. Either way is fine, but at least you know what the ingredients are. And then of course they're listed in the comments up above. However, what I did mention this Wednesday, if you saw Come Shop With Me, we are giving away, normally we give away a shake when you post this video on your wall. So if you share this video, we normally give a seasonal shake away. And then sometimes we do some really special giveaways. And this week, because we have free enrollment, I thought, oh my gosh, we have so many people who are getting started on this nutrition that I was gonna give away. Are you ready? So if you shared last week's show, you are in the drawing for a 9-day cleanse. So we have a shake and we have a 9-day cleanse. And I said everyone who shared last week's show, as well as this week's show, will be entered to win next week's big prize. Big prize is gonna be an Instapot. Yes, an Instapot. And I'm so excited because I got them ordered. They should arrive during the week. So I'm really excited that they'll be coming in. So if you want to win anything on this show, what you want to do is say, first off, say hi, who you are, where you're from. Easy breezy, no problem there. Then what you need to do is hit the little button there on the right hand corner of your video screen and say share. Or if you're watching from your computer, you'll be sharing from your computer and the share button. And just post it to your wall, and that's so easy. That's really easy. So ready for this? It's going to be next week. So anybody who shared last week, you share this week, boom, you're entered to win. Obviously, if you shared last week and then you share this week, you'll have 2 chances to win. So those of you who entered last week, make sure that you go ahead and put your post in. So let me go ahead and share with you who the winners are for the spices. Okay, so this was, I think, the first time this particular person actually watched, I think it was your first visit, but I don't know for sure. So the spices go to, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, so please forgive me, Vibeke Seymour. So Vibeke, you win the spices, so I'm going to put that over here so that I can send you a message and get them shipped off to you. Okay, spices, done. shake. The shake is going to, so you have a choice between our pumpkin spice and our mocha, which was just released last week. And so the shake is going to go. You get a choice. Jan Wood, you get a choice of the shake. So I'm really excited for you. And Laura, I still haven't gotten your address from last week's winner. I need to get that so that I can get that to you. All right, now drum roll. I'm so excited for this particular person who's won the 9-day because she's followed me from really almost in the beginning, and she's shared religiously of our show, and she's finally won the bigger prize. And this is, I think, your second winning because I think you've won the spices before. So congratulations to Lori Dilworth. Yay, Lori, I'm so excited for you. All right, let's go ahead and get on with the show. So what we're making is corned beef and cabbage, and I have a particular flair for loving to add carrots. Now, there are some people who will say, you know, we don't do carrots in ours, but you know, you get a choice. You get to choose. And some of the ingredients, I know some of you who watch are maybe allergic to the celery. Celery and onions, those are really not something, I just like to add them because it's very savory and it really helps the flavors of everything kind of come together. But those are really going to be optional things for you to put in. But you'll love this particular recipe. The one thing I didn't pull out was a light beer, and I didn't actually put a light beer in the crock pot. So I think what we're going to do, we have to cook it the same so we know which one wins. I'm just going to go without it. But it is in the recipe, so I just want to make sure you notice that. I have it in the recipe. I'm just not actually doing it because I didn't do it in the crock pot, although I can add it. But this crock pot has been cooking now for about 4 hours. We've got this on for about 4 hours. And let me tell you, it is starting to just look amazing. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And if you're new to the show, well, it's really super hot. I won't be able to pick that up. But it smells, just if you had smell-o-vision, it's just amazing. But any rate, what we do, if you're new to the show, we always do 2 types of cooking. And here's the reason why. When my kids were growing up, I swore by, you know, my girlfriends, we would go out for a run in the morning. We'd be talking about what we're putting in the crock pot before we head off to work. And that was it. We cooked in the crock pot all of the time. So that when we got home from school, I was a teacher back then, and when we got home from school, what we did is we had a great meal. So I always grew up cooking. The kids always had the crock pot. Well, when I started the cooking show, one of the things that came up was this thing about the Instant Pot and pressure cooking. And that's really all the Instant Pot is. The Instant Pot is a brand name for pressure cooker. And let me tell you, when I started doing the show and started cooking with the Instant Pot, what we did is we've always done Instant Pot compared to how the crock pot tastes. And 9 times out of 10, I will tell you, the Instant Pot, because of the way that the flavors get emulsified, they end up usually winning. It's really pretty an incredible experience. However, we always love to share the recipe because there are some people who just really love the crock pot. Like they still love it. So I like to share that recipe both ways. And so in the crock pot, one of the things that's really easy about this recipe is you just put it all in and let it cook all day long. I mean, it's an 8 to 8.5 hour cook before you even add the cabbage. So what you'll do is when it gets to the 8.5 hours, you'll take out the meat and just make sure it's exactly the way that you want to have it. And if it is, put the meat back in and then put your cabbage up on top, and you're going to cook it on a high setting for 30 minutes. And that's how you'll finish that particular guy off. Now in the Instant Pot, we have a few issues because one of the things that does this cooks the corned beef needs to really cook at a high pressure for 90 minutes. So we don't put the vegetables in until the vegetables that we love to eat with this particular meal, we won't put them in until well, I'll tell you that when we get to the end. So let's go ahead and get started cooking. Welcome to the show. Don't forget to say hello, who you are, where you're from, and I've seen that there are some people writing some things, so let me see if I can read it. Hey, Terry. I'm still contemplating getting an Instant Pot. Well, good, because if you share this video, you might win. So, good. You are so funny, you crack me up. Okay, well here we go. Here's what we're gonna get started doing. What you wanna do is go ahead and put in, I have a, cut up some celery and onion, and the celery and onion are gonna go into the very first part of how we're gonna cook. So we'll go ahead and put those in. And there were about 4 to 5 stalks of celery, and I had a whole onion that I put in here. Just yummy. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab the corned beef. I'm just gonna put this, it's a beautiful corned beef. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. And this one, I'm not seeing the spice packet, but I have so many good spices in here that I need to just take a look at where that spice pack might have gone to. But there's usually a spice pack that is included in your corned beef. This one had one, and this one I didn't see it, so I need to take a look. And if I don't see it, I'm going to add some of my own pickling spices as well. But so let's go ahead and add the spices that we're going to want to have in here, and the liquid. So what I've picked out for my liquid for this particular one is a beef broth. And I love this particular beef broth. They don't have a bigger container at the grocery store. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour as many of them that will cover the beef completely. So I think it's gonna take all of these. And you can always use, I should have probably used the smaller Instapot that I have, just so that I didn't have to have as much liquid. And again, like I said, in the recipe, it calls for a beer. I didn't put that in here, so we're gonna be fair and not have anybody, you know, think that one is different than the other, but for the fact that they were cooked exactly the same way. And I use bone broth, just so we talk about a little bit about this bone broth. I use the bone broth because it's better for your gut. It's really great for your gut health. And it just, I think the flavor is so much better. Getting close. You're gonna love this recipe once it gets started cooking. There's just a few things that you'll do at the end of when this one is almost done. So you want to get your bone broth nearly where it's covering the beef. I think one more ought to do it. Yeah, that looks good. That should do the trick. Okay. Now, it's time to add the spices. Let me just rinse my hands really quick. Got a little bone broth on them. All right, so now it's time to add the spices. And what I love to do is, I love it when we can get really fresh thyme. So I have some, I'm gonna put like 3 or 4 sprigs in. And if you don't have it, I actually have some dry thyme here as well. You can put some dry thyme in. But we're gonna go ahead, so there's what we always do is we start with our organic spices. So every time you'll hear me talk about organic, no GMO, and this is the reason why. So you wanna get organic and that symbol that says non-GMO. So GMO stands for genetically modified foods. We don't need to be putting any GMOs in our body. It's wreaking havoc in our systems, in our endocrine systems, and well, I mean, just look at what's happening to the bee population. So organic, number 1, and then non-genetically modified foods. That's one of the things that one of my paramount things. And had I known what I know now, I would never have done some of the cooking that I did for my kids. So, I'm sorry, that was the herbs of the Provence. Just showing you that. And I don't know if anybody, wait a second. Oh, I have it set up incorrectly. Okay, so I should hit the wand, but if I do that, it might mess it up. Hey, Deanna, great to see you. I had set the wand up so that I'll check it out, but I set there's a feature that I can set here and have it so it's reversed, but I guess I didn't hit it correctly or it didn't stick, so I don't know. And then we're going to add some ground coriander. Oh, I did have a comment from somebody who wrote in to the show. Thank you so much, and I can't even remember, we had so many write-ins this week. Hold the spices up longer so that you can see them, and I'm sorry, so I will do that now. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to read them because I didn't hit the wand correctly. But there you go. That is ground coriander, okay? And the reason why I picked McCormick is just because that's what my store has. You know, you can find all kinds of great seasoning in different stores, but I do like the McCormick. Okay, so we're going to add some ground black pepper. This is the coarse one. Hey, Lynette Davis, how are you? Good to see you. And I know some of you are saying, Laura, you're not measuring your spices. No, I never measure. I'm not that kind of cook. One of the things that I love about how I cook is that I gave you a recipe to follow, but we like things very flavorful, very spicy. Most of the time when I'm doing something that has spice in it, we do it very spicy. But I try to do things that I put in the recipe for you to be able to easy to follow. So no, I don't measure, and this is just how I have always cooked. It drives some people that I know that follow me a little batty because they're like want to have the exact measures, but I don't do that. So here's the next spice is Japanese 7 spice. This is one of my favorite spices that I have found. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of thyme. Even though I've got the sprigs there, I just add just a smidgen of the dry thyme. And then finally, Dano's spices. And I just love Dano's so much. So I'm going to add, most of it's going to be from the savory, but I just did want to point out the spicy one. Now, why do I like Dano's? Not just because he's a teammate, but because he really did develop these, and they're so phenomenal. They're from Kentucky, so most of the stores in Kentucky you can find them. Paul's Fruits Market. There's a couple of stores. Dan, when you're watching, you can say for the Kentucky people where you can find them. But you can also buy them from his website, so you don't have to be in Kentucky or near Paul's. You can actually go to his website and buy them. But they're low sodium, no sugar, gluten-free, no MSG, wonderful, 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 and no GMOs. So I mean, he's an outstanding guy, and he's just created an incredible product. So we love Dano's seasoning. My favorite is this one, mixed. Okay. And that's it. That's simply it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the Instant Pot lid on. Make sure you have the dial set so that it's not venting. Then it just says it's on. You want to lock it in place, and we're going to cook this. We're going to hit manual, and I'm going to up it to 90 minutes. So hang on. Come on. It's getting close. Okay, there we go. So it's set, and it'll go ahead and it'll ding, and it's going to raise to pressure. You're going to cook it for 90 minutes. When it's done, you'll let it quick release after sitting for 15 minutes on a slow release. So let it slow release for 15 minutes, then you can release the rest of the steam. And there'll still be quite a bit of steam in there because this baby is going to be cooking. All right, when you do that, go ahead and take the beef out, put it in a tray. You can put it on a serving dish and tent it, or if you're you can even put it in the oven and just keep it warm. But make sure that you tent it so that the juices stay locked in. And then you're going to add the following to your Instant Pot. You're going to add your potatoes. I have them nice and diced up. And you're going to add your carrots. I love carrots. A lot of people don't like carrots in this particular meal, but it's one that we love. And I have quite a few carrots in here. And then you're going to add your cabbage. Now let's talk about this cabbage. This is a Savoy cabbage. So I'm going to put in both of them when they're done. I'm going to put the cabbage in, like I said, the last 30 minutes of cooking this one in the slow cooker. But in the Instant Pot, I'll put it on top of those vegetables, and we'll just put it right inside the liquid. You'll pressure cook it for 3 more minutes on high, and then you'll want to quick release it so that you can serve everything all together. And that's it. That's so easy. I love it. All right, and that is really the end of the show. It's so simple. One of the things that I found was this particular organic mustard. I do want to show it to you. It's a Grainy gluten-free stone ground mustard, and it's just wonderful. It's a gluten-free and it's organic, and it's the stone ground. It's Organicville. You can do any ground mustard, but I like it to be a little coarse because people like to have that as a dipping. So that's it for the recipe today, and that's it for the show. If you have missed any of our shows in the past, all you need to do is go to YouTube, and you will find all of the shows that we have done. We're getting close to being a whole year sharing these incredible, amazing recipes with you, and I'm very blessed and humbled by all of you that continue to come back to the show and support and talk and just share ideas with me and help me get this show to be even better. So I always appreciate those wonderful comments. I want to let you know that the YouTube channel is Lifestyle by Laura J, and so you'll see all of the history there. And don't forget, if you share today, you'll be entered to win the Instapot that we're going to be giving away, yes, next week. So I'm just excited for that. The other thing I'm excited about is that my daughter will be actually a guest with me because she went to Ireland I guess it was a year and a half ago now, and she's picked out the recipe that we're going to be making. It's an Irish stew, so we'll be making that together. So I'm very excited about that, and we'll find out who the lucky person is at the end, finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak, next week. So have an incredibly wonderful weekend, and don't forget to say hello, who you are, where you're from, and hit that share button. So have a great weekend, everybody. If you have any questions, I'll be answering them throughout the evening. Take care.